Hello, and welcome to It's Not That Bad, optimistic movie reviews for optimistic people. That's Simone LaRue.
And that's Chad Ekowitz.
Hey, and welcome. Guguts. Hey. My mama's pasta. You think your mom made the best spaghetti? My mom make the best spaghetti.
Is that how Italians talk?
That is exactly how Italians talk.
I don't think...
I spent a month
true.
in Italy, and that whole month it was just literally going past places and they'd be like, hey, your mama's spaghetti is not good.
Oh.
And I'd be like, whoa, man, I'm just looking for a restaurant to eat. Well, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, this is a podcast where we talk about 2 movies every week, and we tell you optimistically why they aren't that bad. And this week is no different. Simone, what wondrous piece of film are you doing?
I'm gonna be especially angry and know-it-all this week, which are 2 of my favorite things to be. Because I'm gonna be talking about Lucy.
What a film.
What a time.
So accurate.
Scientifically spot on.
I don't actually understand what your problem is with it, so I'm excited.
I can literally feel my stomach, clenching just joking about it.
Yeah, no, this film is a hot pile of steaming shit in terms of accuracy.
Yes. And what movie are you doing, Chad?
Well, since you were tackling your subject of choice, which is science, we decided that I would do a law movie. Problem being that most law movies are actually really good.
Yeah.
So we settled for Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, purely because he's a lawyer.
It's barely brought up. He just goes, law school is hard, and that's it.
Yeah, it's great. He's like, at one point when he introduced to Mary Todd, he goes, I'm studying to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it's like, that's great. It's
I
perfect.
love that movie. I was thoroughly entertained by it the whole way through.
I was too. You know what? There's a lot to be said about vampire hunting Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
And if that was the truth of Abraham Lincoln, the American history would be so much better than it is.
Yeah, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, we will. And to decide that, we will use our first segment, as we always do. What are you drinking, Simone?
I'm drinking a white wine.
White wine.
It's called Millstream. It's one of the cheaper wines that you can get at Pick and Pay.
Oh, lovely.
It is a light-bodied white wine.
Lovely.
With attractive ripe fruit flavors and aromas. Well balanced with a lively acidity and a refreshing finish. Delicious with a sea view and a sunset.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah. So it's a Sauvignon Blanc, obviously 2018. I wasn't going to spring for anything earlier.
No, of course.
And it comes in at a cool 12.5%.
That is a decent percentage. Nice. Are you enjoying it with either a sunset or a sea view?
I am sitting in front of my laptop on the floor of my room. So I guess the screen could maybe represent a metaphorical sunset on my life.
At 25.
At 25.
Oh, God. The world is on fire.
And what are you drinking?
I found a delightful drink. It's Bailey's iced coffee. So it's a premix can.
Oh my god.
Because I think this is my life now, is just finding premixed cans of delicious
You're
fruit.
back to 16.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling that 16-year-old vibe. Oh, no, I'm not gonna... Oh.
No, yeah,
I'm gonna... I may cut that out, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So, back to it. Yeah, it's iced coffee mixed with Bailey's. So it's a latte, it's delicious, and it's 4% volume.
Oh,
so I can still function after this podcast.
That sounds delicious, but I also feel like I drink it way too fast.
Yeah, I've already finished 1 can.
I mean, it barely counts as anything.
Yeah, they're only, 200 ml? I mean...
Okay, yeah, they're adorable.
Exactly. So they're perfect, and they're delicious, and they're 4%, and I'm so happy to have found these. Much better than the cola and vodka that I had last week.
I have no doubt.
So I'm happy. But you do win.
Yay!
So
let's get this
So let's discuss Lucy.
out the way.
So exciting.
I wrote a synopsis this time.
I'm excited for your plot synopsis, because this movie doesn't make any sense.
I really try to skim it, because a lot of stuff is pretty inconsequential.
Yeah.
Okay, so our story follows Lucy, played by Scarlett Johansson. She starts off as an American woman living the party life in Taipei. Her dodgy boyfriend, Richard, played by Pilu Asbeck, convinces her to deliver a briefcase for him to a mysterious Mr. Jang, played by Min-sik Choi. Shit hits the fan very quickly, and Lucy is pulled into a scheme to act as a drug mule for a drug called CPH4, with the drug sewn inside her abdomen, to another country. Before she reaches the airport, a henchman kicks Lucy in the stomach, breaking the bag in her stomach and releasing CPH4 into her system. After a fight scene to escape the henchman and a subsequent trip to the hospital to get the bag removed from her abdomen, it is revealed that CPH4 is unlocking the other 90% of her brain's capacity, because apparently we only use 10% of our brains.
I've heard that, yeah, that's true. Tracks.
This gives Lucy special abilities, including complete control over her body, mind reading, telekinesis, time travel. You name it, she can do it, you guys. Lucy contacts a neuroscience professor, Samuel Norman, played by Morgan Freeman, obviously, and says that she will meet him in Paris to discuss her condition. On the way to the airport, Lucy phones Interpol policeman Captain Pierre Del Rio, played by Amir Waked, and reports the other drug mules and their locations, which she'd read from the mind of Mr. Jang. While she's on the plane and the other drug mules are apprehended and brought to Paris, Lucy's body begins to literally fall apart, and only copious amounts of CPH4 reverse the process enough for her to reach Paris intact. In Paris, Mr. Jang has sent his henchmen to kidnap the other drug mules and get the CPH4 back. After a car chase, Lucy arrives and easily stops them, then takes the rest of the CPH4. She takes it to a lab in Paris where Professor Norman is working with some colleagues. It is now a race against the clock for Lucy to reach 100% capacity of her brain and pass on all her newfound knowledge to mankind. After an epic gunfight and traveling backwards in time, meeting her namesake, Lucy, the missing link, Lucy reaches 100% capacity, leaving a dead Mr. Jang behind and a USB with all of her newfound knowledge. The movie ends on the hopeful tone that this will better humanity.
Oh, so perfect movie, absolutely nothing wrong with it, everything makes sense. Yeah.
So, apparently, the director and writer of the movie, Luc Besson, who we will talk about later, he wrote this after meeting a neuroscientist and talking to them.
Oh, no.
And I find that hard to believe.
But do you think that neuroscientist was a doctor like Dr. Pepper's a doctor?
Yeah, it was like somebody acting.
Yeah. He's a neuroscientist in the sense that he has people locked in his basement and opens their brains.
Yeah, that's about right.
So, I mean, where do you want to start with this, Simone? Because there's so much to tackle.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to start off slow.
Okay.
Lucy, unlike what her dumb boyfriend Richard says, Lucy was not the name of the first woman. So, when he's referring to Lucy, he is referring to a fossil that we found in Ethiopia called, I think, Australopithecus africanus, who is believed to be the missing link between, like, ape and man, evolutionarily.
Yeah.
This does not mean necessarily that it's the first woman, it's just the closest fossil that we know of now. And we named her Lucy. Her name wasn't, like, randomly, like, etched into her femur.
Yeah. That's exactly what my point was going to be, because I was going to say, we definitely named her. It wasn't like under her gravestone was a thing that said Lucy.
But I'm sure Mr. Besson thought that he was very clever with that reference.
Yeah. I mean, he could have, visited the museum where Lucy's skull is held.
I actually got to see her remains when I was in Ethiopia.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Did she look like a Lucy? Would you say she was a Lucy?
I would have probably gone for more of, like, a Priscilla, but, like, that's just personal preference. Yeah.
I like it. I prefer that.
Yeah.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert kind of vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that. So that's that first bit out the way.
Yeah.
Tell us, well, first of all, I don't think we've ever fully established your credentials. So please tell the people why you know so much about this stuff.
So I did my honors in neuroscience. I have a 4-year degree in it. I also currently work for a company that works very closely with neuroscientists. And I can read, unlike apparently the director.
Yeah, which is fair. So there you have it. She's not talking out of her ass. She knows what she's talking about.
But anybody who can Google things would be able to correct this.
Yeah, that's true. So let's start with the myth. Well, let's go on to the myth of the 10%, please.
We don't only use 10% of our brains, Chad. That wouldn't make evolutionary sense. Why would we have the other 90%?
It's just hidden.
If we're not using it.
Because we would be too powerful and we could kill God.
The body... Okay, what he doesn't understand. The body, like... Through evolution, we get rid of shit that we don't use. Obviously, there are exceptions, like the appendix and, like, your tonsils. Okay? But, like, for the most part, we get rid of shit we don't use. Which is also why she can't remember things from her childhood. It doesn't matter how much of your fucking brain you unlock, whatever that means. Like, your brain gets rid of memories that aren't important to you. It's very efficient. So it doesn't matter that she's unlocked the whole thing. Those memories would not be there.
What I love about this film as well is the fact that they collate unlocking your potential with the ability to have superpowers.
Yeah.
What they don't understand is, clearly, the brain is just the motor of the body. This body that is yours is just a casing, like a suitcase surrounding a sludgy, bread-consisting substance that is the brain. Your entire reality is shaped by this, like, 8-pound sack of grey cells, protein in your in your skull. It informs the reality around you. If you were able to unlock some special powers, all that would do would allow you to be in control of your heart rate.
Yeah, exactly. Which you don't want to do anyway.
Which you really, really do not want to do. You really don't want to do that. Think about it. If every time that you start to think about breathing, and you have to now tell your body to breathe, that was what you would have to do constantly with your heart. I learned the other day that digestion is an incredibly painful process, but the brain stops you from thinking that. You would be in control of that pain if you were able to control that part of your brain.
On top of,
would you really want that?
The brain is only as powerful as the information it can get. So I don't understand, first of all, how she suddenly learns to use guns.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how smart you are. If you've never experienced anything, you're not going to be a master marksman. You're not going to immediately understand, like, how guns work. You also, like, you wouldn't be able to see stuff photosynthesizing and things like that because your eyes literally cannot take in that light information. And it's baffling that she, like, so she's reading Mr. Jang's mind and then she, like, zooms and enhances on different parts of his memory.
Superb.
But that doesn't make sense because his brain wouldn't have recorded that information because it wouldn't have seen it.
Exactly. It really stretches the idea of what you are able to do as a person. There is no way you have a point of view shot from 6,000 degrees away. Like, it just doesn't work that way. It's mind-boggling what that allows you to do.
It's upsetting. Apparently he was like, yeah, I know it's not an accurate statistic, like, it's a science fiction movie, so, like, that's it. But I feel like there are lots of ways that you could give someone psychic powers and shit without bringing poor brain science into it.
That's so true, and I mean, CPH4 is apparently the drug that makes this all happen. So make the drug more powerful and say it gives you psychic abilities. Don't say it just enhances your brain.
Your brain, like, to be honest, like, I know, especially neuroscientists like to be like, the brain is one of the most complex organisms in the world, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, but also, a lot of life on Earth is really dumb.
Like, you're not wrong.
Like, the brain is not all powerful.
Like, humans in themselves are an incredibly flawed thing.
Yeah, and our brains are also really dumb and don't like admitting it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what a lot of mental disorders are, is like a bit of your brain like goes lights out or whatever, and the rest of the brain is just like, no, it's fine! And like, then you've got a disorder. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's a mess up there. It really is. Someone's drunk behind the wheel.
But if anybody would like some really interesting insight into the brain, there's an amazing book called Tale of the Dueling Neurosurgeons by Sam Keane, I think. And it's so good, and it explains just how dumb your brain is.
That sounds really good, and we'll obviously link it to the footnotes of the podcast, and I will definitely probably be buying a copy myself, because that does sound like a lot of fun.
But, Chad, what did you like about this movie?
What did I like about this movie? I think it's really great, and I'm half saying this sarcastically and half actually loving it. The fact that the entire human race and the development thereof is put onto a USB stick. Mm-hmm. That is the best thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And it's gonna be so outdated. Like, can you imagine if you watched a movie like this from the 80s and they put everything on, like, a floppy? Yeah, exactly. It's essentially the same type of thing. Like, it's very clearly a USB 2.0 or 3.0, and I mean, this is computer nerd stuff now. But even if it's USB 3.0, the fastest it would be able to download onto a computer or anything would be 20 gigabits per second. Now, that's pretty fast, But if you're downloading the entire of humanity, 20 gigs a second, it's going to be a couple millennia before you've got everything translated onto it. USB 2 and 3.0 are not even the fastest USB technology.
Yeah.
And you've dealt with USBs. They're pretty easy to lose. Like,
okay,
they're not very
Chad,
fast.
Consider this. She is everywhere now.
That was the best ending ever. I am everywhere, written in Gothic. Oh, but yes, I love that idea because it's so simplistic and it's just like, it speaks to me in terms of, it's on a USB, it's sort of for the whole of humanity, for the betterment of humanity, and that's like a really lovely message. It's adorable. So that's what I would say about that. What is your favorite bit of this film?
God. I really did enjoy the action scenes, like, towards the end there. Those were really fun.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you don't think about it, like, they were pretty solid. I thought the car chase scene was a little ridiculous, but, like, the shootouts were really good. I liked the Interpol agent. He was, like, the only normal person in the whole movie. I love the gang lord, Mr. Jang, getting a facial and a tattoo at the same time. Like, he is living his best life.
He's perfect. Why would you hate on him?
Oh my god. Yeah. I wish I could get a facial. You know what? I'm gonna bring a face mask through next time I get a tattoo. I'm gonna be like, just
do
work
it.
on it. I just need my skin to glow.
It would be perfect, because then you would leave having a fresh tattoo and a fresh face.
Yeah.
It'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
But he was so nice to Lucy as well. Like, he gave her water, none of the other drug mules got water.
But also, he did stitch drugs into her abdomen.
Look, every rose has its thorns. And he did give her water.
He's a layered person.
Yeah. Look, we're always looking for complex people in films. That's what we like, and he is a complex person. That is clear.
Also, I think Scarlett Johansson did really well in this role.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because apparently the whole thing was, like, she wasn't allowed to act, because Lucy, is just, like, a conduit of human knowledge by some point.
Right, okay.
So, like, she's not allowed to, like, have expressions and emotion and stuff like that. And she, even with that, she looked amazing.
Yeah, I like her with the brown hair.
Oh,
when she's on the flight.
Scarlett Johansson just looks good with every hair color, though.
Yeah. If you look at her entire history of film, it looks pretty good. Like, yeah. I was gonna say that she obviously went to the Eddie Redmayne School for Acting when she did this role.
Leave Eddie Redmayne alone.
I will never leave Eddie Redmayne alone. He needs to close up shop or learn some new acting techniques. Either one is okay with me. So, what did you sort of think of your boy Morgan Freeman in this role?
I mean, I guess he was, like, the logical choice or whatever. I'm disappointed in him.
Yeah.
But I also assumed he got paid a lot of money for it.
You would hope so.
Which, like, for that amount of money, probably I would go on and I'd be like, yes, we only use 10% of our brains!
That's fair. And I mean, to be fair, we know very little about Morgan Freeman. He could be a complete moron and truly believe that.
That's true.
We just hope that he's not a moron.
Yeah.
He could be in Scientology for all we know.
I don't think... Well, Scientology would tell us if he was in it, They're very chuffed with their celebrities.
Yeah. They also feel very racially biased, to be honest.
What? Scientology? Are you calling them bigots?
I mean, hot take.
What?
Completely controversial take on this. But I do feel like Scientology might be a little racist. Not sure.
You know what, Chad? I think you're just scared to get audited. As someone who has reached level 8, Can you imagine?
You're level 8? You can eat ghosts now?
I can eat ghosts, yes.
It's the best form of protein.
That's why Tom Cruise looks so healthy.
It's true. He's glowing.
Yeah, I mean, look at my skin right now. It's like...
It's stunning. It looks like you've recently had a tattoo and a facial.
Thank you. That's the look I'm going for all the time. Just like a mild adrenaline flush.
How good would that feel, though? Like, your face is all tingly, your body's full of adrenaline, there's a spiky needle in your arm.
You can take on the world.
Ah, it'd be amazing. You could be a drug lord.
I eat constantly throughout getting tattoos, so, like, I'd have a sugar rush going for me, too.
How can you eat during a tattoo? Like, the movement would be very upsetting.
No, I had people drop jelly beans into my mouth.
That sounds like the perfect life, and I'm very jealous.
Those are the friends that you need.
That sounds absolutely wonderful.
I think so.
But anyway, back from the tangents. Tell me, what's your scene that could have saved this?
Whew.
I know.
I don't know. I feel like what I would have really liked is for somebody to stand up during one of Morgan Freeman's lectures and be like, none of this is right. Like, this isn't true. This isn't how any of this works. Like,
that would have been absolutely great.
How are you teaching us right now? And then he, like, runs out.
Yeah, he's an imposter.
He's with the Church of Scientology.
That would be beautiful.
And you, too, can unlock the next 10%
so
of your brain if you just...
$9.99 a month.
Read Dianetics.
Oh, that would be so good. That would actually make a lot more sense for this film. And, like, the drug was made by Scientologists, and, like... Ooh. It's not actually giving her more than 10% of her brain. She's just on like a really coked up form of coke.
And she just thinks that she can see everything.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just running around like she's on a plane
mumbling
back
to
America and in a straitjacket. Yeah. That would be a great film. The Realities of Lucy.
Honestly, anything that involves a cult, I'm immediately like, ooh, intrigue.
We should start a cult.
I disagree.
I mean, not right now. I'm not saying right now. We're really busy. Okay. We don't have time.
Who has the time to start a cult?
I mean, when we get where we want to go, we'll then start a cult.
I mean, say what you will about L. Ron Hubbard, but he put the work in.
Exactly.
So what's your scene that could have saved it?
It's pretty much identical to yours, but ever so slightly different, where Lucy starts to unlock more of her brain, quote unquote. And she just turns around and says, none of this is real. You don't only have 10% of your brain capacity unlocked. This is insanity. Stop this right now. Because she's downloaded some knowledge from Google with that extra 10%. And she realizes how dumb this whole plot is.
Yeah. Or even that she's just like, oh, this is all inconsequential. And she just like quietly dies.
Yeah. She goes back to the first Lucy. They do the weird hand touch. And then Lucy eats her, because that's what Neanderthals did in those days.
True. But Lucy was not a Neanderthal. That's an distinction.
Yeah, I don't want to have a corrections corner next week where someone's like, actually...
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need that. We don't need that. No. Okay, well, fine. Yeah, that and dinosaurs. There needs to be more Tree of Life dinosaurs. Since we're going back into the past.
Yes, I now want every movie about mankind to feature dinosaurs too.
If Tree of Life can do it, any film can do it.
I don't think rules. Even Tree of Life could do it.
I never said they did it well.
Fair.
Oh gosh. So tell me about this director.
Okay, so Luc Besson. Sorry, I was saying Besson. Yeah, so you would have seen his work in The Fifth Element.
Oh, great.
Yeah. He's a French director. Oh, he wrote The Transporter.
Oh.
Yes. I'm trying to find other stuff that, like, you would have seen. Oh, he directed District 13.
Oh, great film.
Yeah. Taken. He wrote Taken.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So he's actually surprisingly, like, a good writer, then.
Yeah. Oh, From Paris with Love. He worked on the story.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So... not a bad director, but should maybe just stay away from science.
Yeah, anything research-based, it seems like he might fall a little
leave
flat.
That to someone else.
Yeah.
But I will say, Lucy was an interesting story. It was a different way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could also tear apart The Fifth Element and be like, it's physically impossible to, like... do everything she does.
What I would love is, I've just pictured this image in my head, right, where Adam Sandler has just come off of Jack and Jill. He meets up with...
Oh god, I already hate this.
I know. Oh, you're gonna hate it when I finish. So, he's sitting in a coffee shop in Starbucks, New York.
That's what she said.
Hey, name of my sex tape. Adam Sandler's just come off of Jack and Jill. He's sitting in a coffee shop with Mr. Besson. And they've both just come from a viewing of Limitless. And Adam Sandler says, hey Besson, what if we did Limitless, but with a woman? And Besson's like, are you a neuroscientist? And Adam Sandler said, yeah, I am.
Absolutely.
And then they wrote the script together. That's what I'm seeing in my head now.
I hate that on so many levels. Adam Sandler is such a funny actor, but a lot of times he should not be involved
in things.
In concepts.
Yeah. He shouldn't have ideas.
Like, give him a scene, let him improvise it. Don't let him conceptualize the scene.
No. If he has any input,
No.
it will become negative.
Yeah.
So just don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Don't do it.
Okay, well, nice.
Yeah.
Well done, Simone.
Thanks.
I feel with your rage for this movie, that was really nice and concise. This could have really blown up.
I feel like I really got it out, you know?
You did. You definitely relieved some tension. That was good.
Thanks. Yeah.
But, yeah,
Much needed.
we finally did it. You've spoken about the world's worst science movie.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh, there's more to come? I'm excited.
I mean, there's lots of bad science out there.
That's true. Yeah, fair enough. Right. So, shall we switch tacks and go down the law route?
Yes.
Let's
please.
talk the law, shall we?
Let's talk Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Now, there are 2 references to law in my plot synopsis, and I will give you an extra prize of snaps if you can note both times I speak about law.
Okay.
I'm excited about this. Okay, here we go. Plot synopsis. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. This is the story of Abraham Lincoln that no one knows. He has kept a diary of his whole life, and now, finally, the true story is told. The diary starts with Abraham Lincoln, played by Benjamin Walker, as a boy living in the South. He and his father work for Jack Bars, played by Martin Kazakas, who is a slave owner. One day, an African-American slave child is being whipped by Jack for no reason. This slave is actually one of Lincoln's best friends. His name is Will Johnson, and is later played by Anthony Mackie. Lincoln steps in to try and stop Jack from whipping him, and ends up getting whipped himself. Lincoln's father, played by Joseph Moywer, then stops Jack and quits his job. Turns out, though, that Lincoln Sr. owes Jack a lot of money, which, now that he has quit his job, he can't pay. Jack, in a very ominous way, says there is more than one way to pay a debt. Later that night, Jack sneaks into the Lincoln's home and bites Lincoln's mother, played by Robin McLeavy, and she dies. Lincoln sees the whole thing and now has a vendetta against Jack. Some years later, once Lincoln has grown up, he decides he's going to now kill Jack, but he needs a little bit of Dutch courage to do so. He gets white girl wasted at a bar when a complete stranger asks him why he's getting so drunk, saying, "There are only 2 reasons why a man would get that drunk, either to kiss a girl or to kill a man."
Great line.
The stranger then slaps him on... I know, it's the best line of the whole film.
Is it?
He then slaps Lincoln on... Yeah, oh yeah,
There's
definitely.
so many other good
definitely.
lines in the film, though.
There are some great ones, but I do love to kiss a girl or to kill a man. Like, you would never swap them around. You would never kiss a man and kill a girl. It's impossible.
That was the first thing we said. We were like, or he could be wanting to kiss a man and kill a girl.
Right? Thank you.
Let's be progressive here, you guys.
Yeah, come on. This is what this movie's about. It's about abolishing slavery. We can be a bit more progressive. So, the stranger then slaps him on the back, and Lincoln's gun falls to the floor. They share an awkward stare, and then Lincoln leaves to go kill Jack. Lincoln full-on shoots Jack in the face, but what Lincoln doesn't realize is that Jack is actually a vampire. So Jack gets up and attacks Lincoln. Lincoln is about to die when the stranger from the bar comes and rescues him and takes him to safety. This stranger is Henry, played by Dominic Cooper. He is a vampire hunter who is out for revenge on Adam, played by Rufus Sewell, who is the first ever vampire who killed Henry's wife. Lincoln asks Henry to train him to be a vampire hunter, and, reluctantly, Henry agrees. The basic rules for these vampires are decapitating a vampire or shooting them with silver is the only way to kill them, and they also have adapted to sunlight and can turn invisible at will. They train, Lincoln moves to a new city, and is employed by a lovely gentleman named Joshua Speed, played by Jimmy Simpson. And he also meets the future Mrs. Mary Todd Lincoln, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
I love her.
He's also she's great. She was perfect when I saw her face. I was just like, that's nice. He is also reunited with his best buddy, Will Johnson. By day, Lincoln manages Mr. Speed's store and studies to become a lawyer, and by night, Henry sends him on missions to kill vampires. Hijinks ensue. Turns out Adam is a big proponent of slavery because that's how he has been keeping vampires alive so long. No one really cares about killing black people, especially in the South, so it's the perfect cover. Aren't you glad those days are over, Simone?
You know, I'm just so glad that we live in a society where nobody hates black people anymore.
It's perfect. 2019. We've realized
racism is dead, everyone.
You've heard it, everyone. Thank God for that. So, Lincoln starts his career in politics, realizes Adam's big plan, and decides to run for president and abolish slavery in order to defeat Adam.
Yeah, fuck you, vampires. He's using the law to win.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason he's abolishing slavery, is because of vampires. Lincoln also finds out that Henry is a vampire and used Lincoln to try and kill Adam because it turns out vampires cannot kill each other. Lincoln feels betrayed. He and Henry split up for a while, but then join up later. During this time, he also kills Jack, which makes him a very happy Mr. Lincoln. Lincoln becomes president, and thus begins the American Civil War.
Spoilers,
The North starts to win. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert, 1864, I want to say? That's probably wrong,
no.
But it's 1800s. I'm pretty sure it's
1800s.
So, the North starts to win. It's looking really good for the abolishment of slavery until the South and the Southern generals decides to hire Adam and his crew of vampires to join the Southern troops. Obviously, an army of vampires is undefeatable since you can't kill what is already dead. The first vampire attack was the Battle of Gettysburg, which the North lost horrendously, so it actually tracks with real life. So, is this fiction? Is it fact? Who knows? And Lincoln learns about the South's new plan. Loss after loss, Lincoln is starting to lose hope for the end of slavery. Henry is advising him to quit while he's ahead, Speed is saying the same thing, but only Will is saying that he has to keep going. It's really surprising that the only person who is affected and will get his freedom from this is the only one that's saying, let's keep this going, right?
It's strange. It's almost like there's like a history of us not listening to Black people's concerns about racism and oppression of their own people. I'm
confused by what you mean. We have a Black History Month, so things are right. Things are okay now. Yeah. That's how I saw it.
It's fine now.
Yeah. So we can,
it's done.
Will's obviously being a bit too, bit too sensitive.
Some SJW coming in here.
Oh, come on, guy. This little snowflake that Will is. If you don't realize that this is sarcasm, it is all sarcasm.
Could not be more obvious.
I really hope people realize that. Anyway, so Lincoln has a dinner with Mary Todd and has an epiphany. The silverware.
The fork!
The fork! This is how we will win the war. So the silverware is all silver and thus can be melted down to form weapons to defeat the new vampire army. He sends forth a proclamation to the entire of the North American states to give up their silver. He then creates the weapons and sends them via train to the battlefield. But he is betrayed. Speed has told Adam what is on the train and when it will be sent to the battlefield. This gives Adam the opportunity to set up an ambush and destroy the train before it can get to the troops. Adam and his band of vampires attack the train. There are casualties on both sides, but in the end the train is destroyed. Luckily, the whole thing was a massive decoy. Speed was a double agent. Haha! Racism, take that. Speed was a double agent and told Adam about the wrong train. This allowed the real train to get to the troops successfully. And this, spoilers, marks the turning of the Civil War. The North win, and Lincoln signs the Emancipation Declaration, abolishing slavery. He grows old, so does everyone else except for Henry. Yeah. Lincoln is about to leave for the theatre. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
What's gonna happen at the theatre, Chad?
It's...
How does... Lincoln dies of old age, right? Like a long, happy life?
Yeah, he sits as president for 4 terms, which is the longest serving American president of all time. And he often he had a really good time at the theatre. He really enjoyed every time he went to the theatre. For all 4 of his terms.
Oh, that's lovely.
I know. So that's good and everything, you know. So Henry says to Lincoln that he should let Henry bite him so that they can do much more good for America. Lincoln says no and goes to the theater. The movie ends with a snapshot into modern times. Henry is sitting at a bar next to a man who is again white girl wasted. He repeats what he said to Lincoln all those years ago. There are only 2 reasons why a man would get drunk. Either to kiss a girl or to kill a man. And again, slaps the guy on the back, and you guessed it, a gun falls to the floor. The end.
Dun dun dun! Can I just say, I was thoroughly entertained by this movie. Everything...
It's so
Here's
beautiful.
The thing. It knows what the title is, and it's exactly what it says, and it leans into it. The kills are ridiculous. He slashes a guy's throat open with a knife that's in his mouth.
It's beautiful.
So, like, slashes a dude's horse, like, throat open with his mouth. There's a horse chase.
Yes.
Which, with some of the
Yes.
worst CGI horses ever. Like, you can't, like, don't look too closely at the horses. But it's fun. There's hijinks
It's
on
really
a train, which if you're doing a movie in the 1800s, you have to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. I love it.
It is so lovely, and I'm so glad they leaned really heavy into it.
Yeah.
But it's not to the point where it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, there's still, like, a lot of freedom speech and him
Mhm.
talking about the rights of man and things
Yeah.
like that. But there are also killing vampires. It is the perfect blend.
He's swinging an axe around. And then there's the just inherent feline sexiness of Dominic Cooper underlying all
man.
of it.
It is a problem to watch this film. He is that distracting.
Dominic Cooper is too sexy. Like, I was saying,
He's so
I was watching
gorgeous.
it with my sister, and I was like, he's sexy, but, like, you don't know how.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's not the eyes alone. It's
No.
not the cute button nose alone. It's not the sexy, messy hair. It's all of it together.
It's also just a
he's just
spiritual,
perfect.
like, he just projects.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I would
Yeah.
vampire hunt with him in a heartbeat.
Oh, any day of the week. But what was I really enjoyed about this film as well is there's so many great actors that you forget were
Yes.
in this.
Alan Tudyk.
I mean, the Falcon is in this.
Yes.
Alan Tudyk's in this. What is this about? Like, what? It's
Oh,
great.
man.
Mary Todd is fucking ace.
I mean, what's the dude's name? Oh, Jimmy Simpson, I think, is the one playing
Yeah, Jimmy
Josh
Simpson,
Westby.
yeah.
Yeah. Get a lot of Westworld vibes back from him. That's fun.
It's perfect. And Harriet Tubman was in this film. She is a credited role in this, not the actual Harriet Tubman.
Wait, who was Harriet Tubman? When did we see her?
She was one of the slaves. When Lincoln goes to that farm place and is protected by the priest, Harriet Tubman is there. It's absolutely fantastic.
I didn't realize because we were watching that scene and I was like, wouldn't it be wild if Harriet Tubman showed
Yeah,
up?
she's in the film. It's great. It's perfect. I was like, that is amazing bit of Americana
course,
right
of
there.
course.
Because they mention it, like,
Fucking-
they literally say Harriet and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. It's played by Jacqueline Fleming.
Oh, well done, Jacqueline or Jacqueline.
Or Jacqueline, however you want to say
Yeah.
it. I'll tell you what other movies she's in, because you might recognize her from something.
Okay.
The Walking Dead,
Oh.
The Neighbor, NCIS, New Orleans. She's got quite a substantial list here, to be fair.
Do you want to know a fun history fact?
I would love to know her fun.
Is that for most of her young life, Harriet Tubman's nickname was Minty.
Ah, that's nice.
She was called Minty.
That's so nice. Yeah, that's lovely.
The Dollop does a great episode on Harriet Tubman.
Oh, she's great. She's great. And I was so glad to see that she was in this film. But it's just so much fun. And I mean, the lines of it are great. The fact that it, conflates slavery with vampire hunting.
Yeah, let's talk about how, it kind of absolves white people of slavery, because it's no, it wasn't white people, it was vampires.
Yeah, that was, that's not great, is it?
Evidently that's not true.
You would really hope so. Because if this is the truth of Abraham Lincoln's legacy, then we have problems. Because then white people are truly awful. Beyond what they already are. Let's be fair. White people are pretty evil.
Whoa, Chad.
Look, controversial topics here, but
Spoken by the two whitest people.
no, but we're drunk white people. We don't count as true white people because we're just drunkenly moving through life. We recognize.
I think a lot of racists are.
No, they're ignorant. We acknowledge the fact that white people are the worst, but we drunkenly we drown that guilt in alcohol. That's what we do.
In
best.
some Baileys and white wine.
The whitest of alcohols.
Oh God.
But yeah, this movie, the axe that's actually a shotgun, perfect.
I don't know why I'm reacting silently because obviously people can't see my reaction. That made me so happy.
What?
Of course his axe is also a gun. Of course.
I mean, this movie pulls no punches. He chops down a tree with a single chop. That is amazing.
I was thrilled with this movie, start to finish.
It's so good.
Was it Oscar worthy? Probably not. Was I entertained every second? Absolutely.
It was great. It's great. I mean,
It's a perfect movie.
it really is. It is so beautiful. And, like, what I would love as well is because you know about this conspiracy that there's, like, the President's Book, which is, like, a history of all the presidents written into a single book. And it's all the truths of, like, who shot JFK and all this type of shit that only the presidents have. And it's passed from president to president.
Okay, that can't be true, because, like, Trump would tell everyone.
You are not wrong.
Or do you think there's, like, some archivist who holds on to the President's Book and passes it on, and he's just like, I'm gonna give this one a skip?
I think I would love that to be true. Just Barack Obama's sitting there with the archivist, and the archivist's like, so you're done, Mr. President, with the book. It's now time to hand it on. Listen, don't worry.
Yeah.
This idiot is not gonna get it.
No.
You know, don't stress your...
Let's be honest, though, if, like, Reagan didn't pass it on, like, we act like Trump is the first incompetent president America's ever had.
I think what's probably happened is George Bush Jr. Lost it. It's somewhere in Texas, like, underneath a 7-Eleven. He's just sitting there like...
He, like, fumbled it and dropped it in the fire one day.
That'd be so perfect. Like, he arrives back at White House, and he's just like, Cheney, the funniest thing happened. I dropped the book in the fire. Sorry about that.
So, like, Subscribe is there just weeping.
It would be so good. And Cheney's just like, don't worry, I'm sure we've got a backup. And the archivist is just like, shaking his head, a tear rolling down his eye.
I can't, Chad, please.
It would be so good. I think we should write this movie, The President's Book.
But it's just like A-list, like, amazing actors. Like, it's fucking Gary Oldman as makes an appearance. Like,
but like as a minor role, just as like a vice president that loses.
I want all the presidents to play as themselves, like all the living ones.
Yes.
And like, I guess because George Bush Sr. is deceased, so George Bush Jr. can play him, and then George Bush Jr. is played by Jared Kushner.
That's great. That's great. I thought you were going to say George Bush Jr. plays George Bush Sr., but with like a really fake mustache, and then he just takes off the mustache when he plays himself.
Yeah.
So he's just there in a scene by himself, just taking the mustache off and on.
I can't.
This is the perfect film. This is perfect.
Bill Clinton would love to play himself on camera.
He would be amazing.
Let's be honest.
He would be so good at it as well.
But then he'd like insist on like Jennifer Lawrence playing Hillary.
Yeah. And Hillary's as Monica Lewinsky, and it's just like freaking out his mind on stage. He just doesn't know what to do with his information.
Anyway.
Now that we've created the best movie in the world, what was your scene that could have saved
I don't think I have one. This movie is perfect. I cannot think of anything I'd want to add on. I think maybe I would have liked to see a slightly more badass Mary Todd, like, you know, we're going into it. Like, I just want her... I know she kills the one lady vampire at the very end.
Yeah.
But maybe, like, she just turns to him one day and she's like, no, I've known the whole time. I've, like, been killing vampires.
That would be amazing. She's like a sleeper agent kind of thing.
And she's just better at keeping secrets than Abe Lincoln. Who, by the way, the dude who played Abe was a babe.
Oh, man. Like, he aged well. Well, fake aged so well. He's a stunning man. And he's got, like, those really innocent eyes that it's just like, oh, shucks, I'm gonna be one of the best presidents the America's ever had. Yeah. Like, perfect guy. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, my scene also revolves around Mary Todd. I would have loved to see a bigger love triangle between Mary Todd, Lincoln, and the senator played by Tudyk.
Yeah.
Like, because he kind of just disappears when Mary Todd and Lincoln become...
Yeah, he's, like, weirdly cool with it.
Yeah, which I would have loved to see, like, a thing where, like, Lincoln and Mary Todd get really, really close, but he keeps having to run away and kill vampires, and she's kind of getting sick of it, and she's like, look, I like you more than I like the Tudyk senator, but he's safe, he's reliable, he's there. Yeah. What are you going to do about it? And Lincoln has the choice.
What are you bringing to the table?
And Lincoln's like, what do I have the choice? I know, I'll become president. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have liked to see that. Yeah. So, let me tell you about this director. I'm going to...
Please, I love him.
He's the best guy in the world, ever.
It was clearly directed by a man. I don't know why I said her.
I think female directors have more patience than this film required. So for this film, you've got Timur. Now he's Russian, so I'm gonna get this wrong.
Okay. Of course he's
Right,
Russian.
right. Timur Bekmambetov. Bekmambetov.
Isn't it ironic that a Russian directed a movie about an American president?
Ironic or circumstantial? Oh. You know, in 25 years, when like sort of all the Russian conspiracies come out and people listen to this episode, they're gonna be really confused why we're being so coy.
They're like, no, but Russia was clearly running the US.
Yeah, that guy Trump is in prison forever now.
Oh, God willing.
I mean, that's what we can hope for. But more about Mr. Bekmambetov.
Please.
So,
I want to know everything about him.
he's done a bit. He directed Ben-Hur, the 2016 one.
Oh, the one that Woody's seen?
Yeah, that one. He did Wanted, which was pretty cool.
That was fun.
Yeah. He's done a lot of Russian stuff. I mean, obviously, he did Chicharena Tulala and Chicharena Zahara, and Nashi 90E. So, I mean, obviously, he's an amazing director. If he was on Nashi 90E,
of course.
But he's produced a hell of a lot more than he's directed. He produced Unfollowed, Unfriended, Dark Web.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. He did what else? Unfriended, just the first one. Linkin Park, Powerless, Apollo 18.
Oh, so he's worked with Linkin Park before.
Yeah. 9.
Because Linkin Park was obviously playing during the end credits, which I thought was
they were.
Perfect.
That's really cool. That is very, very cool. So yeah, I think he's an absolutely fantastic director. I think he's an awesome producer. And what a man. I'm all about Timur Bekmambetov.
Wish him all the best.
Bekmambetov.
Not a bad film, not a bad director.
No, what a champion. So yeah, he was born in the Soviet Union. It was still then, 1961. So he's chugging along.
Yeah.
Good on him.
That's cool. That's always, like, crazy to me. Like, when we were in the Czech Republic, like, we spoke to a guy who's like, yeah, my mom was born in what was Kazakhstan, but is now something else.
Wow.
And, like, I was born in, like, what was this country, but is now something else.
That's crazy. Like, I hope people who have had that experience keep their original passports, because that must be, like, a piece of history for you.
Yeah,
that's really
wild.
cool.
Well, as you know, there is now a party. I live in the Western Cape. There's a political party that wants the Western Cape to be like its own country.
Oh, of course. Oh,
yeah, like those people in California who want like California to be its own country.
Yeah, just the worst people.
I mean, you know, I guess, but like, why?
I mean, it's a pain in the ass more than anything. Like, I get why you would want your autonomy. I mean, I'm talking as a British person with a country that is a screaming baby child of autonomy.
Man. How? Yeah, so things have been eerily quiet out of Britain for the last week.
I think it's because in 19 days or in 9 days or something, basically we either have to have a deal or it's over and we get a no-deal Brexit, which is not going to be a very fun position.
Yeah, you're pretty fucked. You're only going to be able to drink British wine. And not for long, because they'll have to stop importing the grape juice from Italy.
Yeah, it's going to be really problematic.
Yeah.
But at least we have a lot of craft beers, so that's fine. So I think Britain is being a tiny little crybaby about things, and they want their autonomy, but they don't want to give anything back. Britain for Britain, but you're not allowed your culture back. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, right? Who would have thought?
Oh, you guys.
I know. Problematic.
So shall we move beyond world news? Shall we move swiftly on to what I'm excited about and what you think is not going to do that well?
Yes, I love this segment. It brings us
Me too.
a bit of yin and a bit of yang. So tell me, what's clickety clacketing in your head?
So the Shazam trailer came out.
Ah, so good.
It looks so fun. It's Zachary Levi, who is so funny.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait. It looks great.
It looks like it's going to be a really fun film. I was a bit skeptical at first, but I watched the trailer a couple times, and it does look really funny. It does look really good. I thought, to be honest, you were going to be talking about Good Omens.
Oh, shit! I mean, we even posted it on our Facebook page and our Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, yes, obviously I'm thrilled for Good Omens. It's got David Tennant and Michael Sheen, two of my favorites. It's one of my favorite books of all time. And it looks like a party. I'm so excited for that too, obviously. That goes without saying. That's why I didn't mention it.
Fair enough. Everyone should just know automatically that Good Omens is going to be a fan favorite.
Yeah.
The book is just so funny, and they've got such spectacular actors
It's
for
perfect.
it. Like, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be
I
perfect.
hope so. I really hope so.
No, it's going to be beautiful. Well, this week, I'm going to first talk about a film that is going to be good, and I just wish that it wasn't going to be good. Tolkien trailer came out this week. Yeah, that was the reaction I had, and then I fucking watched the trailer, and now I am involved.
You're in.
I'm involved. Okay. I'm sad about it, but
yeah.
It looks really good. It's typical sort of, history of everything, Enigma game, The Imitation Game, that kind of British angst, this type of thing.
I love me some British angst, though.
It's the best. It's heartfelt beauty. And this time it's about Tolkien.
And also, like, there are so many good sweaters in it.
Oh, you should see this guy.
Like, everybody just has charming jumpers the whole way
Tolkien wears a charming jumper. There's also a scene of him in his professor coat running through the halls of Oxford. So, I mean, what more could you ask for?
What more?
I mean, it's perfect.
Is it
so, yeah,
even
I think
British
that's going to be
biopic if you don't have a shot of Oxford or Cambridge in the background?
It's true, because those are the only two universities in the UK,
yes.
to be honest with you. It's Oxford or Cambridge or nothing. That's it.
Or else why bother?
Yeah, exactly. Which is really sad for me, because I'm at another university that isn't
No,
those
it's
two.
fine. You can do good research anywhere.
I'm studying a distance learning course, so my university is my home.
I mean, you're talking to someone who's, like, been working from home.
Yeah, like, I'm not upset about it. It means I could do my degree from my house, and that's amazing. Do you know what else is at my house? Food.
Yeah, sweatpants.
Sweatpants. Perfect. That's all I need. But let me talk about the movie that is going to be terrible, and I'm really sad that it's going to be terrible.
Oh no.
It's a film, and the trailer also came out this week. It's called Midsommar. So it's got the German. Did you
I thought it was
also
Swedish.
see this trailer? Oh, is it Swedish?
I think so, because Swedish, I've been to Sweden during their midsummer celebration, coincidentally, and it looks like that.
Oh, right, fair enough.
So I believe it's Swedish.
Well, it's Swedish then. And it's directed by the same guy who directed Hereditary. So we were all very excited about Hereditary, having a look at the trailer.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be a really terrible film.
Look, was it terrible, or did we not understand it?
No, I'm sorry. The first half was excellent, and then it just fell to shit. Like, there is no question about it, it's a bad film.
Yeah, like, if you have to, like, Google hereditary meaning afterwards to, like, have enjoyed the film retrospectively, then maybe it's not that good.
Exactly. So I have a feeling, having a look at the Hereditary trailer and then having a look at the Hereditary film.
Yeah, it looks very similar.
Exactly. So I have a feeling...
And it looks like I'm gonna get to the end of the movie and be like, what?
Yeah, exactly. It's this whole vibe that's suddenly come, and I blame Mr. Peel for it, of really nuanced horror films. Yeah. And Mr. Peel can do it. Get Out is amazing.
Because
Us
here's
is going
the
to be
difference between, like, pretentious shit and, like, an actual, like, good story.
Yeah.
Which is, like, Get Out had a point.
Yeah.
Like, it had, like, a message about our society. And Hereditary didn't. It was just creepy. Which, like, in itself isn't a bad thing, but then, like, make it make sense, you know?
Exactly. It was just really dry and creepy instead of investing and creepy. And that's what's... Like, Us is going to be the exact same. It's creepy, but you can see it's going to be amazing. This...
I'm so fucking ready for Us.
It's going to be so good.
I want to go watch it in the cinema.
It's going to be so good. But this, Midsommar and Hereditary... Like, it's the tree of life of horror films. I'm just gonna say it now.
You're not wrong.
Exactly. So, yeah, I wanted it to be good. I'm hoping it's gonna be good, but I know it's not.
Okay.
So
I'm actually with you. I watched the trailer today, and I was thinking, like, if the trailer looks good, I might talk about it as, like, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
But
no.
Yeah.
Man, no. The trailer was terrible. There's a lot of heavy breathing.
But honorable mention... goes to, I believe it's called Brightburn.
So excited for Brightburn. Brightburn is going to be
trailer,
terrifying.
And it looks fucking perfect.
So if you haven't seen the trailer yet, the basic concept behind Brightburn is, what if Superman was evil from a child? And that's essentially it. And it looks fucking intense. It looks fucking scary. I'm so ready.
My body is ready.
It's gonna be unbelievable. Unbelievable. So yeah, honorable mention, Brightburn, definitely. Yeah. Well, we did it again, Simone.
We sure did.
You know, the Field of Interest episode is finally done.
Yeah. Chad, do you want to tell people what we're doing next week?
I really do. Now, give credit where credit is due. Simone came up with this idea, and it brought me a lot of joy hearing about this.
Just epiphany.
It was beautiful. So, ladies and gentlemen, next week we are going to be needing you to watch 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades More, and the third one.
So it's 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, and 50 Shades Freed.
Oh, so I got pretty much all of them wrong?
Yes. You were 1/3 of the way there.
That's good. That's good enough for me. I can deal with that. So yes, it's our kink week next week.
Yes,
of course,
kink
we're not
week.
gonna be sharing our kinks because that's weird.
No.
But
no.
You know, if you want to tell us your
personal.
kinks, I'm about it.
Yeah.
I want to hear your kinks.
By all means.
Yeah.
We will not kink shame you.
No.
As long as it is safe, sane, and consensual.
Those are the three C's.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get it right again, or is that 1/3 again?
I mean.
So yes, we're gonna get a bit sexy next week. So
bit sexy,
bit dangerous, bit risque. It's gonna be very exciting. We're excited. You're excited. You know, sexually, maybe. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
We're both very repressed individuals, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It should be good. It should be really, really good. I'm so excited. Great news. So, how are you, Simone? How's this week been?
It's been okay. It's been a busy week. It was a lot watching Lucy.
Yes.
And then I ambitiously last night decided I was going to make chicken parm.
Okay.
For Rudy and a guest. And then eggplant parm for Max and I simultaneously.
Big task, nice.
So I had about 1 million dishes to do today.
Oh, that's always fun. And burnt cheese, so it wasn't easy.
No. No, we didn't burn the cheese.
Oh, good.
Thank God.
Thank God. That's the one thing that matters.
Yeah.
Did it work out well? Was it delicious?
Yeah, it turned out good. I've never made a chicken parm before, and obviously I didn't eat it.
No.
But apparently it turned out well.
That's
I have a couple tweaks that I want to do for next time, but considering I've never made it before, and I just made it based on, like, an idea of what I think it's supposed to be like, did I look at a single recipe? Absolutely not.
No, but that's amazing. You stuck to your convictions, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful in itself.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Would Italian grandmothers have wept at my version of chicken parm? Absolutely. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. This is the 3rd consecutive week that I have been ill, and it's driving me absolutely crazy. So I spent most of this week in bed, just trying to recover. I've started to feel better, but my nose is still blocked, which is really, really irritating. I hate... And I don't know if you feel the same way, I think you probably will, but, like, when you're sick and you can't do things, it drives you mad.
Yeah.
Like, I hated the fact that this whole week I haven't been to gym. I hated the fact that this whole week I haven't been able to study. Like, it genuinely drives me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that by, Monday, I'll be fine, and I'll be able to hit the gym again, and get back into the swing of my life, because I hate just being stuck in bed.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it happens. These meat sacks, as we have discussed, are betrayers. They are very much like Anakin Skywalker, and they will betray everything you love.
Even though they were the chosen one.
But it did give me the chance to almost finish the whole of Handmaid's Tale. I'm reading the book.
Oh, it's such a great book.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I hate her style of writing.
Oh,
she
really?
uses way too many commas. She uses way too many commas for my liking.
I love a good... Like, that's always my issue with writing, though, is I love commas so much.
You're a comma girl?
I love commas and adverbs, which are, like, the two things they tell you not to overuse. And I just love them both so much. Like...
That is amazing.
So my writing process is always to, like, just word vomit everything onto a page and go back and, like, edit and refine. And, like, the first thing I have to do is get rid of half the commas and adverbs.
Yeah. Yeah. Adverbs just make things so much easier, though.
They're so fun, and I know that they're lazy. Like, that's why I like them.
Yeah, to do something sleepily.
Yeah.
Instead of him being tired and doing the thing.
Ugh.
Boo. So there you have it, everyone. That is how we feel
this
about
podcast
things.
supports adverbs.
We are an Oxford, adverb positive podcast.
Yes. That's our new slogan.
Yeah. My dad said to me the other day that there are no point to Oxford commas, and I told him he was a heathen.
Okay. Tell that to Oxford.
Yeah, the only other college in the UK, Dad. Not the Cambridge comma, is it? Not the University of Sheffield comma.
It's not the Harvard comma.
This podcast is derailed from start to finish.
This podcast is brought to you by Oxford University.
Study here, I guess.
Where else are you going to go? Isn't that Oxford slogan? Just Oxford, because where else?
That would be amazing. I would love that. So, back to the podcasting things. Where can the people find you, Simone?
Oh, yeah. People can follow me on Instagram at simone.le.rux. They can read my articles at Forge and Flint. They can follow the podcast on all the social medias. We're at It's Not That Bad 1 on Facebook and Twitter, and at It's Not That Bad Podcast on Instagram. They can also email us at itsnotthatbadpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, do it, you guys. Tell us about your kinks. We're really excited to hear about all the kinky shit you do.
Tell us all about your kinks.
Do it. Tell us your sexy details. If you want to do it anonymously, we won't tell people.
Please don't. We're very awkward.
It'll be great. We'll spend like half an hour just awkwardly going through your kinks online.
Oh, well, here's a young man who,
That's great. I love that you went British in your prude voice.
Yeah, it is.
It's great. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at chatsby1993. That's CHADSBY 1993. And you can also find me on Forge and Flint for all of our awesome articles, poetry, and short stories. And, give us a like, give us a subscribe, rate us, review us. It all helps. We want to get to the...
Review us with your kinks. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, do it. Let the people know. It's 2019.
Yeah.
We've solved racism.
Let your freak flag fly.
Nice. Do it. Let your Wow, that is actually really hard to say. Let your freak flag fly. Flip.
Yeah.
And, so give us a like, give us a subscribe. It really helps us get to the tippity top. And, as we say at the end of every episode, we love you. And
we love you.
Nothing you
and there's
can
nothing
do
you can do about it.
That was
I was like, we'll do it at the same time.
That was so confusing. I was like, halfway through, it's going to sound really awkward, and I'm so excited. And we still haven't said goodbye.
Bye!
So, bye!